then at least if they don't want to go the traditional route of working for somebody else, if they want to be job creators rather than job takers, then they do need some of those tools to sort of get into that line of work. Personally, what I've seen is some of the best entrepreneurs actually go to university, graduate, work in industry, and then segue out of industry into their own venture. Because sometimes you need to see what's broken about the workforce in order to have those creative ideas that translate into business opportunities. So I wouldn't dissuade students from seeking a traditional path, because they might actually find that it brings them to a non-traditional path of being an entrepreneur. But everyone's pathway is different. I think universities can do more around equipping students with actual kind of like, it's one thing to teach entrepreneurship, it's another thing to take students who have a good idea and help them develop it into a business that might then be launched. And I think if universities can be the incubator for that kind of activity, increasingly, that would be great. And some universities are doing that really well, but not all. So I certainly would encourage more of that. But look, I think it's great to have the focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. It can't be to the detriment of the fundamental teaching activity, but I think it's really important to bring it into the mix.
True. As you were saying, like with the young generation, I can already see, and I've talked about this in this podcast before too, like how most of us in our generation who is coming, for now, I can see, like, I actually recently met a 10-year-old girl. Like, she's 10 years old, and I can talk to her like I'm talking to you, like she knows everything, like she knows about mental health, she knows about wars and politics, and like you negative and positive human emotions. Looking at the kids these days, they know so much, like compared to me myself. And our generation, I can see, is that they don't want to do that traditional 9-to-5 job. Most of them, some of them love it, and it's a very good idea to do that in a sense, like you work 9-to-5, you have a proper income, you have a happy life, you have a happy family. That's good. But I don't know. The thing I'm afraid about is that I don't want it to be like a trend or a fashion where everyone is like, I need to be an entrepreneur, although your mindset is an entrepreneur, although your lifestyle and culture is an entrepreneur. But I'm afraid that it wouldn't turn into a fashion or a trend like that. But every one of us, most of us, I can see that, we want to be entrepreneurs. We want to do something different. And this is a talk I have with my dad too, like how he's always saying traditional things, get a job. And I'm like, I'm not that bad. I'm not built that way.
I think that's an important point, though, is that it can veer into being trendy. And it's important that if people sign up for entrepreneurship, they understand that it's not all about private jets and, posing for Instagram. It is actually about, there's hard work involved.
Very much.
And collaboration involved. And if you really are building a large business, you've got to be involved with fundraising and corporate governance, like building a board. And like, it's not just all about popping bottles and driving around in nice cars. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it. So yeah, hopefully if more people are exposed to it, then those who are just seeking to cash in on a trend can sort of sift out of it, and those who are really interested can kind of stay the distance and continue. But yeah, I think the social media view of what an entrepreneur is maybe different from the reality.
If you like this video, hit subscribe. You can listen to the full podcast in YouTube, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.